thank you so much for that incredible welcome. That little dance that you saw, I would have danced onto the stage, and it would have gone on for a time. So just imagine that in your minds. So a lot of times when I'm speaking to an audience of this is human beings whose ages range from 4 to 18, like usually like student assemblies. Not all the ages at once. It's usually like all grades in elementary, then 6, 7, 8 in middle school, and 9 through 12 in high school. And when it's human beings that are at this relative adult age, the numbers usually flip. Like there's like 4 to 18 people at this age. And we're usually doing like professional development, songwriting as a team building exercise, or they're college students and we're talking about the music business, your career as a musician, and how to make it a sustainable, viable opportunity as a career. One of my favorite first questions to ask adult groups is, by a show of hands, how many people here today consider yourselves to be musical? You can either like go like this or some jazz hands. I want to flip the screen. Your hands up because I got 3 screens to go through, and a lot of people don't have their screens on. Okay, so let's see. Yes, all right, jazz hands, some real proud, loud and proud musical people. I see you, thumbs up, I see you, yes. For some reason, not in a Creative Mornings environment. There's like this instant cloak of shyness that descends, and people start shrugging their shoulders and they're like scrunching down in their seats, and they go like this. There's this like puny little finger, and they're like, like, I don't know why it's a shy thing to admit publicly that you consider yourself musical. Maybe it's because it's a musician asking. I don't know. But like sometimes just someone asking you if you consider yourself to be musical is like something to either be shy or kind of like maybe ashamed of. I don't know. But I know in this space that the word creative like reigns supreme, and that we use it as like spinach, like Popeye uses spinach. I refer to non-musicians as civilians, but I think for the sake of this, non-creatives as civilians, right? I say, so when your jam or like your favorite song comes on, how many of you close your eyes and like tilt your head back and start singing as loud as you feel moved to sing, or maybe even sang, right? When you're all by yourself, like you're in your car, or everybody's been cleaning and purging and neatening up, and then your jam comes on. Don't you even tell me that this part of your body gets a lot of light, because you're like, all by myself. Whoo, you turn into a different person, your same you, but just like this totally different, this is my jam and this is it, and right? That's a part of like the musicality. Like it's a thing. And I think we do it a lot more often than we even realize, right? There's this song that used to be one of my childhood jams in the 80s. Do y'all remember a group called Third World? Anybody? Yeah? Okay.
I'm old enough.
So what'd you say, Vishali?
I'm old enough.
Okay. Yeah, good. Welcome. I think many of us are older. Plus, Third World is kind of timeless. Even if you don't know the name of the band, then you've heard, now that we found love, what are we gonna do, at a wedding or at a club or with it, or the bass line to Try Ja Love. I don't know what the words that he's singing. Try Ja Love. Oh, won't you try? Yeah, 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 yeah. Try Ja Love. It just, I don't know. It's just fun music to sing, right? But they have this song that my brother and I used to like pretend that we were like the keys and the bass player. And we would like be back and forth kind of battling, right? And it's like, it's dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Love you with a sense of purpose. Dun, 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 dun. Such a sense of purpose. Dun, 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 dun. And all right, so sidebar. When I go like this, you know what to do, right? Okay.
We could try it. Wait.
Okay, let's try. Okay. One, two, ready, go. Love you with a sense of purpose.
All right. Y'all
with a sense of purpose. Such a sense of purpose.
Minutes because I was on that call. It started.
All right, will you try? I think we got it. It worked.
I love it. I love it. This is how I'm going to do Zooms. I'm going to just suggest we just do Zooms where everybody's talking and singing all at once all the time. We will get so much more accomplished, I think, and more people will pay attention. Okay. So I've never not known this song, and it was on the radio constantly, and it's constantly a radio playing throughout like the whole soundtrack of my youth, right? Yes, Erica, there was harmony. Did you guys hear the harmony too? Somebody was up there, such a sense of purpose. Thank you, whoever did that. Whoever's. So I told you I grew up in the 90s, right? And that was before everybody had a cell phone. That was before the internets. That was back when I thought cable TV was called cable TV because there was like a long cable from the big giant TV to this big giant box that sounded like when you change the channels, you know? I thought that that's what cable was. I had no idea it was some other stuff. Around that same time, music videos were like starting to be like a real thing, like MTV and VH1, and they were all playing the hits, and Cyndi Lauper and Michael Jackson and Tracy Chapman and the Pet Shop Boys, and you know, just everybody. And this one song, Sense of Purpose, probably because it's reggae and something, well, reggae fusion, and something about it just is infectious. But I remember that being when I was first asked to talk about purpose, that song like jumped into my head. Love you with a sense of purpose. And I was, at the time, I was like really too young to know what exactly the song was about. And we would like, you know, just say this and that, you know, you're making up words that make sense to you at that age range, right? So we were probably singing about potatoes and pajamas and not knowing what envy and jealousy and all this. We're single digit years old. We don't know about that yet. But as a singer songwriter now, the narrative of the story that lives within songs and the lyrics and the way the instrumental music supports that story is so important to me. And so now when I listen to a story that's told within a verse, and it sounds like, at least in that song, it sounds like the members of Third World were probably like reminiscing about haters who were talking about them and how they got famous, and then they started getting partners that looked a certain way. And, you know, I don't know. It seemed a little disjointed to have this much conversation about haters in the verse. And then the hook, the thing that we remember the most is love you with a sense of purpose. Doom, 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 doom. Such a sense of purpose. But the intention is there and the focus is there. Acclamation that this thing that this relationship or whatever it is that the story is telling about this third world member who's saying, you know, I'm going to love you with a sense of purpose. Ding dang it. They nobody's going to stop me. Those haters not going to stop me. That's the purpose, to love for a reason. That got me thinking about like intention, because I say, you know, we should be intentional about staying in touch, and I should be intentional about practicing my cello more. And for a large part of my adult life, I sort of interchanged intention with purpose. And then I realized like purpose is a thing. Purpose is like a noun. It's your what and it's your why you do things. And the intention is how you get to your purpose, right? For example, as a jazz musician, I've observed that it's really, really, really easy to get way too heady about the music, And the conversations that I have with my quartet, like we're releasing this new song, we're releasing a new arrangement of Willy Wonka's Come With Me and You'll Be in a World of Pure Imagination, right? And it's a waltz, but the jazz musician in us is like, is it in 6/8? No, I think it should be in 5/8. Well, what if we did one measure of 6/8 and then we did the rest in 5/8 and then we do an interlude and then the interlude is in 6/8 and then it's like, we were exhausted by the time we were just talking about road mapping. So then I was like, well, what's the purpose of doing all this interchangeable time signature if we're just going to confuse ourselves, right? We need to tell the story. Mm-hmm. And the story is, come with me and you'll be in a world of pure imagination. Take a look and you'll see into your imagination. So if we're all distracted by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, then the purpose of even doing the song, just like it disappears, you know? You're not telling a story, you're essentially doing a math equation. And at least for me, I don't, unless I'm working in class with some students, I don't think I'm that interested in writing a song about math equations. Not today, anyway. We were trying to figure out, you know, what we're doing, the tempo and the feel and the key and the vibe. And then it just like broke down that like, if the purpose is to tell this story, then sometimes you need space. And the space serves the purpose of allowing to take the time that I need in order to tell the story through the lyrics. Sometimes you need less time, and sometimes you need more music to help keep the story going so that you can paint a picture for the listener. And so much in music, so much of the success of a song that works is ensuring that there's a valid reason why all the ingredients are in there and utilized in a certain way. Like everybody, I don't know, everybody loves cello. I brought my cello. This is my cello. He's coming a little later. This is Thomas. I'm going to play him. And I can tell you that just as an experiment, sometimes I just like bring the cello and just sit it, and people are like, oh my gosh, cello. I don't even have to play it, and people are listening to what I'm saying because they're like, she's going to play cello. I got to listen. She's going to play cello. I do actually play cello. I should, but sometimes I just make everybody wait because I really want to say things first. But what I'm saying is that like everybody loves cello, and more often than not, I've gotten calls over the years to just come play cello over my track, over my recording, you know? And I always want to hear the track first so that I can ensure that there's actually room to add one more thing. Because the reality is that people, a lot of times they have the music video in mind and they're like, oh, cello, it's so pretty. It looks beautiful. It sounds beautiful. But then when I get the track, there's no room to add anything else. If the only purpose of adding cello to this track is aesthetic or just like an ideal, I will decline that gig. I've declined a lot of gigs just based on that premise alone. There's no purpose for the cello other than that you want it, but you haven't made space for it. So, you know, if cello or the thing that you're doing can't authentically add to the whole, I just don't believe that there's a compelling reason or a purpose served for me being there. And I'm just not one to be taking money for a job that I just like, doing a gig for something, I haven't earned that money, you know, I just don't like that. So I want to share a little example of the way that like my thought process of the purpose of using cello as a bass line and as the foundation for a song. So the question is, why are we starting with a bass line for this song? And why does the cello, if I perform most of the time as a quartet, why is the cello starting out, right? So the song is called No Get Back, and the bass line goes like this. And I play that through the whole song, right? That is the motif. That is Shana represented as the cello saying, no get back, no getting back, no get back, there's no getting back. There's no get back, getting back together with me, no. And then I beat the whole thing. No, 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 no. There's no get back with me. There's no get back, getting back together with me, no. And so the whole narrative of this song exists because of the foundation built by this one line. That's the purpose. That's the purpose of setting up this whole song with this simple bass line, is to establish the one sentiment that never, ever, ever changes. And every single time it comes in, it is the cellist who's saying it, who's singing it. And it's my voice that's saying absolutely, unequivocally, make no errors, okay? There is no getting back together with me, no, right? So it serves a purpose. And we build a song around this one main sentiment of intentional thought, you know? Around this time last year, I was down east in Elizabeth City, and they have an annual jazz festival. Ah, Elizabeth City, is it you? I saw some jazz hands, Joseph.
Yeah.
Jazz hands, hey, okay.
Yeah, but
It's so beautiful. It's beautiful down there, and it's quiet, and it's like spread out, and it was just, and there is so much musical history in that one little microcosm. I mean, I was blown away. And so Elizabeth City State University has an annual jazz festival, and they invited me to be artist in residence. And part of my residency included a clinic, a performance for an auditorium full of students grades K through 12. And so we did the performance, and at the very, very end, this one little boy at the Q&A, he gets up, they give him the mic, and he asked me this question that thank goodness we captured on video. So,
what is your goal in life?
What is my goal in life?
Wow.
Are you a plant? Did somebody plant that question? Yeah, that needs to be the last question. Goodness gracious. Well, philosopher. My goodness gracious. I will quickly answer that question because it's a great question that I'm going to be thinking about for a long time. But I can tell you, I'm a firm believer in happiness, right? And I feel like that is something that we can create for ourselves, within ourselves, no matter what you're doing. But it's also something that it cannot be kept. It's like light. It is light. And no matter how hard you try to keep it, just one little out can break through and light up a whole room. And when you are happy, it's infectious. And I feel like it's our job to share that happiness with other people, with as many people as possible, especially now. So whether it's music, whether it's, y'all know it's National Poetry Month, whether you write a poem, whether you are visually, artistically inclined, sports, whatever it is, whatever you're doing, just be happy when you're doing it, you know? It just makes it more, always, for you and for everybody that comes in contact with you. That little boy took me out of my element. Did you see me trying to recover? I was like, what is my goal in life? That's a great question. Did I have to wear deodorant today? Like I was, it actually took longer to figure out what I was going to say. And thank goodness I have an editor who was like, all right, let's just go from this angle. And here we go. Now she's answering it all gracefully, right? When I was talking about happiness being our job, to find and share and experience it as much as possible, that it makes it more for you and for everyone else who comes in contact with you. thinking about pursuing and achieving happiness like it's a job, like working on that, like it's like your 9 to 5 or like your hustle, that, my friends, I honestly believe that is one of my main purposes. um, that's like one of my main reasons for being, not just being a musician, but like being. I love I love seeing people smile when I'm like, hey, and I am one of those people. Like one of the main reasons why I moved to the South, like it was so easy for me to move from North to South, is because people, I felt like I was seen, like for the first time. You know, when you're driving down the street, we were looking for a house and people were going like this. Y'all know what, they're walking down the street, right? Or they're on their porch and they just go like that when the car drives by. I'm like, I said to my ex-husband, I was like, do you know them? He's like, no, this is just what people do down here. Just wave. I was like, I'm going to try it. I'm going to try it. So you're driving and I'm like, and then the person driving was like, just like, you know, driving like this, and you see that. I was like, this is amazing. This is great. This makes me feel good. And when I see people and make eye contact, and I'm like, hi, I don't need to have a conversation with you. I just want you to know that I see you. And that makes such a difference for everybody. It makes me feel good to know that I acknowledge someone, especially now, y'all. You know, you're grocery shopping and you got your mask on, and everybody feels weird because you have your mask on, and and it's awkward. And I'm noticing that there's a lot of awkward averting of eyes. And I'm just like, you know what? I'm going to smile as big as I can so that my mask goes like this, so that you can see that I am smiling at you. Or if I say hi, you can tell when somebody's like, hey, how's it going? Versus, hey, what's up? You know where the beans are? There haven't been beans in like 3 weeks. Everybody's eating beans these weeks. You know, something like that. You can still talk to people from this far away and be happy to see them, especially now, you know? The song is called Hiding in the Light. Hiding in the light, seen but out of sight. Was she then? Who is she now? Silent she will stay. Trust she won't betray. The tears she wept are secrets kept. Wrapped in mystery. Can she wake her heart and see? She could be free. Back to before, stainless and pure, when she was sure love was real. Wrapped in her shell, is it too late to tell her to feel? Just to feel. Hiding in the light, seen but out of sight. I see who she could be. Back to before, stainless and pure, when she was sure love was real. Wrapped in her shell, is it too late to tell her to feel, just to feel, hiding in the light, seen but out of sight, I see who she could be. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. I'm a magic boss. I hear it. I hear applause. Yay.
Thank you for that beautiful rendition. Your song brought tears to my eyes because, first of all, this is such an amazing experience to be able to share this community with people who I felt like we all felt it. But, you know, I have to say that I'm a little bit envious of having an instrument that you can play that's so beautiful and moving. And I'm kind of curious, do you ever, like, in this time of COVID-19 and you're sitting at home, do you ever stop and like just go into your office or your room and just play and like let that instrument, like let those emotions out with that instrument? Because I don't have any way to do that. I'm a photographer, and I've thought about like doing like a self-portrait series of how I'm feeling.
Yeah.
But I'm wondering like how you use that instrument, because it seems like a really wonderful way to express your emotions at this time.
Yeah, it's you know what's interesting is that I have spent so much time like in the technical place of the instrument and learning how to just play it, that a lot of times and it's only in this time that I've made time to just play, like just play for enjoyment and just play my body story. I learned about body stories and like channeling emotions and these like kind of secrets and like tamped down forgotten things that we keep, that our physical bodies keep, that sometimes we don't articulate. And this daggone cello has been like a saving grace, to be able to just play one note, you know, to be able to just play that, and the resonance is it's really a lifesaver. I think you know, I'm thankful that it's the cello. I'm thankful that I have a drummer who lives below me, because I just text him and be like, look, I got to work some shit out. So he's like, no problem. Because when he has to do that, it's like 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock in the morning. He's like, and I'm like, oh, he's going through it. Okay. Then I take the pillow and I'm like, but yeah, it has been a saving grace, truly.
That's awesome.
Amazing.
Thank you, whoever posted Hiding in the Light. It is on YouTube. It will be the first single on my next album release, but that's currently scheduled for February, but you can listen to it now on YouTube.
Shana, several people are very curious to know how you became a cellist.
Okay. I became a cellist by default. I think, you know, talking about purpose, at the end, like as an adult now, I see that was clearly a case where the instrument chose me, because I knew I wanted to play something, and I started out on violin, and I sucked at violin. I was so bad. Oh my gosh, there's at least one violinist on here that I know can like play circles around me. But when I was able to switch to cello in 6th grade, we had like one cellist in the orchestra and everybody else was violin. And Mr. Dietz had asked, does anybody want to change? And I was like, please God, please let me please let me. And from the moment I started playing, I was like, oh, it's my jam. This is worth like, you know, carrying a whole person with me, walking uphill both ways. Yeah. So 6th grade, and just never put it down.
That's amazing. Abra said it's just like the wand chooses the wizard.
It is that. This big giant wand. I want to say, while we're waiting for a question, I want to tell you guys that it took me so long to be able to sing that song, Hiding in the Light Without Crying. Can I just tell you, like, when I first heard it, I was like, Christian Tambor, who's playing piano, is who wrote that lyrics also with his with one of his co-writers, Clint Holmes. And the first time I heard it, I was like, how are you writing this song about me? I don't know you like that. How does this sound like a song that I wrote that I didn't write? And so I was like, I've got to sing this song. And I started singing, hiding in, seen but out of sight. I couldn't even get through the story, because every time I thought about the words, I was just like, whoa, you know, how can I be so present all the time and still feel like I'm not seen? It's probably why it's so important to me to be saying hi to people from underneath my mask, so that you know that I see you.
Ethan was asking if you could share what inspired you to share your music in schools.
I didn't have a me growing up, and I didn't know that it was okay to be great at music and great at something else and not have to choose. And I didn't know that you could be a professional musician and and have a happy life and a sustainable life and all the normal things. Because growing up, I knew Whitney Houston and Mariah Carey, Michael Jackson, Janet Jackson, Stevie Wonder, Bill Withers, and Miss Kaplan, my music teacher. Like, there's nothing in between. And so the work that I do, I don't think I have the fortitude to be a classroom teacher all the time. They are my heroes and sheroes to show up every single day to the same place with all them kids and teach them and pour into them. I get to show up and be like, Miss Shana's here for a week, and then help them and help the kids and then bounce, right? But I think that it really does take a village. And I think that the stories that, like, what they have to learn with math and science and English and social studies, we can write a song about that to help them retain that. And that will help the teachers to continue, which will help the students, which will help. So it's just it's a very easy part of my life. It's part of my purpose. You see what I did? You see what I did?
Yeah, I see what you did. I love it. Well, I'm not seeing any other questions. Did you want to share? Oh, it says, how do you connect your music and STEM?
So, so usually what I do, science, technology, engineering, math. And if we are lucky enough, we add the A, it becomes STEAM, right? But we have done things as simple as like my shining moment of my life was going into a 3rd grade class and saying, hey, y'all, what are you learning about that you know? Like, do you want science? Tell me what you're learning about in science right now. And they were like, frogs in the Amazon, poisonous frogs. And so I said, all right, well, tell me all about them. What do they eat? What do they look like? What happens, you know, if they touch you? And so we make this song called, what do you think? Poisonous frogs, right? And I have a loop station that I just ask them what they know about the subject. Then we incorporate steady beat, we incorporate rhyming, we incorporate, you know, sentence structure to make the song. And then red, yellow, blue, green, these are the colors of frogs to be seen. I am toxic, don't you see? I hope you won't mess with me. Poison in my blood. I mean, it's just like all of this stuff. And then they're singing along, poisonous frogs, sitting on a log. And then, yes, give bees a chance. We did a song about bumblebees. Y'all, don't get me started. Don't even get me started. Give bees a chance is coming soon. Yep, we learned all about bees. So I could go on forever, but I'm going to be quiet now. I'm going to read this to you guys, okay? Because I was really excited just to end with this, and then I got overtime. We all have to keep showing up. It's not necessarily easier just because it's Zoom and pants and shoes are optional. It's actually harder for us who are used to having the proverbial village to help us be our best selves. And now we have to find alternate ways to exist, but we just got to keep showing up. And if something or someone doesn't serve a purpose in your life anymore, it's okay to shift your intentions and to spend time finding the things and the people in your life that do. Just keep finding your reasons why. And seriously consider keeping your heart open to receive and to be the provider of that happiness, because the world needs all of the happiness that you have to give. Thank you.